welcome to Lynn Serrano Show, Live, Love, Laugh, Let Go Out Loud. I'm super excited about today because I have JR, and JR is one of my newly found friends, and I'm excited because we have a few things in common as far as his interest and stuff. So I'm excited to have him on here. Let me do a little intro and then I'll be right back. JR, welcome to my studio. You look pretty damn handsome. I might add that. Yeah, welcome to my show. Yeah, you look all dapper and everything. And thank you for helping me with my light. This man has lived a very interesting life. I'm going to ask him random questions. We'll see what we get out of this guy. But first, I'm just going to let him give his, I don't know, you could talk about your business, whatever you want, but let us know what you... Just a little bit about you.
Sure. Well, I'm a guy that's, first of all, hi, everybody. I'm J.R. Arsenault, living in Charlotte, North Carolina since 1980 something or another. And I'm one of Lynn's friends. We met in this mastermind type group that we are involved with. And she invited me on her show, and I didn't know what to expect because I saw Lynn is... she's she's creating a unique footprint of where she's positioning herself, which I appreciate because I'm an individualist myself. From New England, lived overseas, went to school overseas, came back. We share a little bit of time together in different cities. She was, I call it Siberia Cues, and I was Rottenchester, and moved down here, like I said, in the 80s, and have had several entrepreneurial ventures. The longest one, which I'm back in, is photography. I know it's supposedly a dead trade or whatever, but there is life in anything, and especially in creating wonderful images, which is what I'm all about. I'm all about the quality and quantity of light and good composition. And, I mean, what can I say? If anybody's interested, I'm jrastudios.com. But I'm really looking forward, Lynn, to I was told to be prepared for some interesting questions. And so I tried to study up as best I could last night, and I got a feeling none of the questions are going to be on the quiz.
Oh, maybe not. I might put a twist to them. But JR, I thank you for helping me with my light, and you're a pretty humble guy, not to mention the fact that you served our country in the military, and I want to thank you for that. 3 of my brothers served, and I'm very, very patriotic that way. So thank you for serving our country, and you are a modest guy, so I'm going to pull you probably out of your element a little bit, maybe not. And it's so funny, you're really nervous, and I think sometimes when we're nervous we should just get things out of the way, right?
Well, so, yeah, so
this is the first time I'm doing this to anybody, you guys, but I'm going to do it to them now and then ease them in. Okay, so here we go.
So have you ever gotten yourself in a pickle? What kind of pickle would you say you got yourself into? That you learned the most valuable lesson ever.
Well, yeah. I feel like my middle name is Gherkin or something like that, because
you asked for it. You asked me nervous. Let's get it out of the way.
Oh, no, that's fine. That's fine. My dad was a troubleshooter, and he was the guy that they would have to clean the corporate dirty diapers. And he was like the Texas Ranger. He'd go into the town and clean it up. And so his bonus was, hey, guess what, Bob? You're going to go to another town to clean up another bad operation. So what did that mean for me? I didn't live anywhere more than 3 years growing up. We moved around because he was very successful and very efficient in what he did. And so even now, I'm a little jealous with some of my friends from high school. Hello, anybody, if you're there from Connecticut.
Are you
And
sharing? Are you sharing this on your page?
it's a oh yeah, yeah.
Okay.
But anyway, it's many of them have been. One of my friends married his elementary school sweetheart. They started going out in junior year in high school, and he never dated anybody else. And they've got kids, and and that's all great. And I've never had that. But one of the things about moving around, the plus is I had to learn to make friends quickly because didn't have a whole lifetime to develop a relationship. And it gave me some very good skills later on in life. So I guess that's one of the many pickles.
I guess I'll accept that for right now. So let's talk really quick about what it means to you living your best life for you personally, not what you think anybody else, but for yourself.
Well, that's an interesting question because I had always tried to be, and I've said this before, I've always tried to achieve be in the top 10%, because my philosophy up till last year was if you're in the top 10%, it's a lot better than being the best, because if you're the best, you either stay the best or you go down. But and that was okay, but I was always leaving money on the table because I was happy to be in that A- or better group. And I decided, after hearing several things from several people that I know that are really positive influence in my life, you got to have positive influences in your life. I get rid of some of the negative influences and some of the downers with friends, relationships, business associates that weren't putting me in that 100% mentality where I want to see I'm not saying it's anybody else's 100%, but I want to see what I can be. And I'm actively working on it every day, one brick at a time, on what is my 100%.
Yeah,
And
it is an individual thing, and people don't realize that.
yeah,
It's,
and sometimes, I'm not bragging, but I mean, my resume and stuff speaks for itself. And but I could have done more, and we can all do more. And I've challenged myself to be my own competition every day, not getting all weird about it and stuff, but trying to place that one brick every day in the wall that I have predetermined where the direction is. And if I can get at least that one brick, I'm good.
And we wish we had all this knowledge when we were younger, right? Everybody, welcome to watching the show. Say hi, interact with us. We love that. Thank you for letting us know where you're at. Yeah, so I think giving wisdom to those that want to take it is great. If they don't take it, that's fine, but they'll remember someday what we said, and that's all that matters, is we put it out to the universe and didn't keep that knowledge to ourselves. It's important to share the knowledge of things. And so what do you love in your life other than your family?
Oh my goodness. Some people have called me the 3 C's with Christ, because I've got a relationship with God without getting all religious and stuff. And cars. I've had a magnificent obsession with fine automobiles my whole life. I grew up in a family where my dad was all about that stuff, and it kind of rubbed off, and all of us kids, and even my mom, who's still alive, going to be 98 this year. And she stopped driving a couple of years ago, but she's an amazing lady. And cars, Christ, and cameras. And I mean, there's always like one of my degrees is I've got a Bachelor of Science in basically photo hardware science from RIT. And so I went to a school that's excellent, and I graduated with something, and it's part of my life, and it helped me with the photography. And I'm not an equipment geek, by the way, even though it might appear that I said that, but I don't get tools for the sake of tools, and I don't get the latest and greatest for the sake thereof of, gee, that's going to improve my craft. I think wherever I am, I need to have those tools in my toolbox. I need to know how to work them to their limits and what their capabilities are. And that's how I advance my own craft.
I have a nice Canon camera, and I know you're not a Canon guy, but I've got a Canon, and I enjoy photography, looking at it and all that stuff. But you know, it's an intimidating DSL that I have and whatnot. But you know, I'm not in the school of trying to learn everything about it. I just, you know, use the auto, or I play around. I get some good shots, and I wish I remember what I did. But being dyslexic and the F1 and F2 and all that, F10, whatever, it's just, it gets to be intimidating. So I don't want it to take away my passion from just snapping pictures.
Understood.
And yeah, so I sometimes think I'm a good photographer. My kids beg to differ, but you know, it's the eye of beholder, right? When it comes to photography.
Well, it's interesting because amateur has negative connotations, but the Latin root of amateur is the same root for amore, which is a lover of.
Oh,
And
okay.
so, you know, I guess I call people passionate hobbyists instead of amateurs. Amateurs are the ones that when you pick up the camera and you see the arrow and the word front, that's amateur. I forgot which way to point it, but
okay. I'm not
yeah.
that bad then, so you made me feel better, and I appreciate that very much.
Oh, it's okay.
Okay, so what makes you laugh? And I've already figured out some of it, but I know I make you laugh because you don't get me or understand me yet, and I like that.
Oh, well, no, that's fine. Hey, I'm telling you, I like this guy called Rodney. I give him respect. Hey, and I like the old comedians that we grew up with. Hey, Brian, and we, you know, a lot of things. I don't venerate present things because they're current, or past things because old fuddy-duddy. If it's good, it's good. And if you get somebody like a Don Rickles, whose humor would never make it now, or
Phyllis Diller, we said, or Joan Rivers, or
Marty Feldman, all those people we grew up with, they were really funny.
But you know, we were young. Well, you're a little bit older, but we were young where we probably didn't get half the jokes, you know, like other people did. So let's see here. Yeah, thank you. I'm glad he's on here too. He's a character. You guys would get along really good. I'll tell you what. I believe that you surround yourself with a great vibration of people, and you guys, I'd like to have you guys both on a show together, because it would be, you guys are both the same, a little different, and I love that. And I know that you had me laughing with your little character voices and things you've done. What's one of you probably have a voice that it's one character you do that people have asked you to do over and over. I'm going to probably regret this, but I'm going to ask you, which one's like your famous one to do?
Well, there are a couple of them. This is one of them. This is that Martian that was going to blow up the Earth.
And that was one. And, you know, hey, I'm telling you. Hey,
yeah.
You know, last time I saw a mouth like that, it had a hook in it, you know, and all, you know, I mean, Rodney Dangerfield, what's not to like about him, you know?
Yeah.
And just a lot. There's so many people that I've admired in my life that are just funny people.
And influenced
you know,
maybe
we're here to have a good time.
That's right. Maybe I could influence you to be on TikTok. I know you said not, but look at the things you can find on TikTok.
I may not be TikTok famous, but I have never posted a video of me shaking my butt for likes. And if the beat live, you know Lil Juke made it. Yada 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 yada.
I just had to make you laugh.
I might need a wide angle lens if I'm going to try that one.
All right, you made me laugh. I had to make you laugh. I'm going to have to.
Okay.
I've used that a couple of times on my show. Sorry, but I just couldn't help myself. It just was a, a bonding moment there. So, what things have you let go out loud that you've been vulnerable to admit and share that you truly have realized that, I can admit, and these are my challenges. What have you verbally, vulnerably let out
Oh
loud?
my. Well, I know I can even differentiate between my right foot and my left foot's taste, So I'm familiar with both of them. But what have I regretted?
Not regret it. You just let it go because you can't. If you let it go, there's no regret to it
Yeah, it's like
anymore.
a torpedo. Once it's out of the tube, that baby's gone.
Pretty
And
much.
you hope it misses the ship sometime, and other times you hope it's a dead center. I'm just saying.
Yeah,
But
absolutely.
what have I let go? Sometimes, especially with kids, I mean, kids are so fragile and vulnerable. And sometimes when they do stuff around me, little kids, I'll laugh out of the joy of being in the moment, and they think I'm laughing at them. And, it's misinterpreted because I'm just laughing because they're so darn cute
Right.
when they're doing it, and they're like thinking I'm ragging on them or something with look at that little idiot or whatever.
Everything is always left at the table for mistranslation, truly. Even doing the show, somebody could take a little clip and you're laughing and say, haha, laughing at children. I mean,
Oh,
it's,
well,
yeah, but I'm just saying,
kids are funny, kids and dogs.
oh my
They're
gosh,
very similar in many ways. They respond to affection, and they know if you like them or not. And you know
yeah, it's definitely, that's why I try to be a kid every day. I try to be real naive, not naive to everything, but I just let go. I mean, what I do is I focus on the good of everyone I meet. But trust me, I know there's a lot of bad shit about them. That's okay. That's not my business or for me to judge. I'm going to love them for what I love them for, and that's it. And it's
yeah,
so much easier life. It's so much easier.
I'll tell you, Lynn, and everybody, I try to deal with it as much as possible with everybody. If it's a toxic thing or if it's just hate, hate, hate.
Move
um
away. Yeah.
I look at politics as on both sides as toxic because they're saying the same thing. Somebody wants somebody out of office for the next 2 weeks, and somebody else wants to blow up the whole. It's
Yeah.
just so I look at it. I look at the politics and what's going on as the same. It's
Yeah.
everybody's got the same. Everybody's got the same fraternity tie.
And that's just it. I just choose. I understand my brother, that passed away. I mean, that was his philosophy. He ain't got nothing good to say about this person or that. Even when my mom would call to try to bitch about the siblings or something, he'd go, Mom, call to see how you were doing. It's about you and me, not about everything else. And that's where good morning, Laura. And that's where we miss the boat on a lot of things. We just need to focus on the good and let go of all this other crap. So here we go. What's the biggest factor that has helped you be successful? And you have been very successful with your photography and your connections.
Yeah, that's a fact. What's been successful? The biggest factor about me is, I would say, the confidence that I've had from attempting darn near impossible things and achieving better results than I have.
That's awesome. Because,
It-
obviously, you took your thinking and you made it into action. And that's where I spent the last 4 years contemplating how I'm going to do my comeback. How am I going to, be present and do on? And I'm like, I can't keep thinking about it. I just got to do it. So,
yeah, it's like last year was all the highs and all the lows were there. I was getting married to somebody and sold my house, was fixing her house up. She came down with, she was diagnosed with cancer. Um, and that ended tragically. And big sigh. Fortunately, a friend of mine said, "Hey, just come and move in because we're not in the house much. We've got houses all around, all over the place." And so that was quite a blessing. But what he didn't understand was I was sitting there at this very desk in a different room, looking out the window and just thinking about things in life and what do I want to do next. And honestly, that's one of the things that made me successful, is not feeling like I have to do action, because action, of course, you can't dream about stuff on one hand. You have to act on your thoughts in a methodical way to achieve anything. Hello, like big news there, everybody, right?
Yeah.
But you can't just react to things and go ready, fire, aim every time something happens. And a lot of times, especially when something that catastrophic and profound happens, you get the breath knocked out of you, to put it politely.
Yeah.
And I had a lower thought there, and that too. But you take time and you recover, and you think, what do I want to do next? And by the way, if anybody hasn't taken the time in the past year to do that, whether something catastrophic other than 2020 happened, I paused and I decided what I'm going to do. And one of the things I decided to do was go live, like Lynn and like some of our other friends, like Brian. And that was one of the best things I ever did, because it was something totally out of my comfort zone. But it was awesome because I had to formulate, okay, how do I do this? What are the mechanics? How much, considering the cost of the bridge, so to speak, before you build it and cross the river. But the thing about it is, you have to figure out, okay, what's the other shore going to look like?
Yeah. Where your destination, what do you want the destination to look like? Because you can't get on a plane and say, okay, take me, California to go to New York. If you don't have a pattern, you're going to end up in Canada, or you're going to end up in the ocean. I mean, it's just, you got to kind of decide where the destination.
If not to interrupt, but if you leave from Charlotte, and if you head for the West Coast, I mean, you sort of, put the compass on W. But if you don't have it at that exact whatever, 87.6, then you don't go to LAX.
Right.
Or 81, you don't go to Portland or whatever,
Exactly.
You need to have that exact, and it's okay if you adjust on the way, but you kind of got to have, it's like this old Stephen Covey book, The 7 Habits of Highly Successful People. And one of the habits was, you need the end in sight. You start that. I think that's the first tenet. You start with the end in sight.
Right.
And you reverse engineer it. You figure out where you're going to be, and then you can see where you're going to be. And then it's easier to see the steps to get there.
Exactly. And these are the elements that I wish they would teach in school that they don't. So yeah, let's not go there, right?
Really. They teach them how to feel good about being losers, Congratulations, your team came in 5th. Yay!
Yeah, here's your award.
Wow.
If you had one piece of advice to someone starting out, what would it be?
Don't go home. Stay there. Not really.
Nobody wants to stay home anymore.
Somebody said make all your mistakes up front when you're young. I wish I could say I took that advice, but if you had one piece of advice just starting out, surround yourself with positive people that have a vision of their own. Look, it's not, we were brought up, and I'm not saying an ugly selfish, but if you're not selfish first and foremost in a positive way, look, if you're showing up at a buffet, you don't show up with empty Tupperware. You show up with something to share with people. Right?
I love it. Yes.
And you got to create something of value for yourself. The reason why people like me, I think, is because I bring something of value to them in their existence. I love it. Thank you, Laura. And anyway, you know,
She's in South Carolina. She's a queen.
where is she in South Carolina? Where are you, Laura? Speak up, girl.
I'll let her answer that question, even though I know.
Oh, okay.
I'll let her answer that.
Okay.
But,
Okay. Not street addresses or anything. Just general areas. Well, maybe I don't know. It all depends. I got to investigate this.
No,
a little more.
she's married and she's pageant queen for sure. No. So, have you ever met a celebrity other than myself?
Yeah. I met a lot of them. In my photography days, especially in the 80s, I was doing some band photography on location, live shows, because back then they'd have stuff they called fan clubs. I don't know if they have fan clubs now, but I created a lot of material for the tours that came through in the area, in Rochester and in Toronto.
Nice.
Rolling Stones, ZZ Top, Neil Diamond, Rod Stewart. I mean, the list is a who's who of, you know, Kiss, which was an interesting stuff that I went through there. It was, you know, this is a PG show, so we'll keep it that way, but they were wide open. So, Laura, I almost moved down there to Isle of Palms, and maybe I should have, but you know, it's a great place.
Wow.
You know.
So of the celebrities, do you have any encounters or any interesting stories?
Yeah.
Or did you like you had a perception of them before you met them, and then you met them? Did your perception change?
Well, there were a number of them. Like for a while, I was doing photography for a guy by the name of Dave Thomas, who was the founder of Wendy's. And he was an interesting guy. He wasn't the CEO. He was the senior CEO, self-made man. And the public, the polished, hi, I'm Dave. And the guy that I knew, I mean, he was all about business, and God bless him. He was all about making it happen. You know, he was a self-made man, and sometimes the alpha male in that is a little overpowering. But there were a lot of people there were several celebrities that I've known. Former governor of North Carolina. I've known Pat, and I actually had encounters a couple times with Mario Cuomo, you know, the governor's dad, and in his original 1984. That's a long story, but I've met a lot of, without getting into it, I've met a lot of celebrities.
Well, like I said, I'm trying to get some dirt for us people, and he's just not giving it. But you're a smart
man. Gonna
man.
happen. You know, Foster Brooks. I don't know if you remember him. He was a character actor, 80s, 90s. He was upstate New York, and I had a chance to photograph him one time, and he was just a nice guy, and he was just, you know, he had a great act of being drunk, like Red Skelton, and both of them. I don't know. I think maybe Foster had a little more experience with his Fosters, you know, but they were both really nice guys that were very clear people.
Was that beer named after him or something? Foster?
No,
it just happened to be, right?
Yeah, you get these quart-sized things and just say, "Hey, I'm having one beer" or something like that.
My Long Island accent comes out when I say Foster. That's how I normally would say Foster. So yeah, because it's a word I don't always say. It's Foster, and then I realized that, oh my gosh, like don't make me say the names in Long Island. It's no wonder people talk the way they talk there because of the names on Long Island, like Soyosset, like. I don't know. That's how I say it. So I asked it. You know,
forget about it.
Yep. So what tells you most about a person?
You know, people try to figure out people and they try to, it's like you squint some way and you look at a certain angle. If you just watch what they say and what they do and how they treat people, you can tell a lot. My grandmother told me after a disastrous relationship ended, my grandma told me the way I tell how a woman is how she treats the waiter. I'm next.
Ooh. Wow. That's you guys. Did you guys get that? Wow.
Yeah.
That's a big nugget. I can give that advice to one of my friends that's dating, being 55 and dating. You gotta take those. Hey, what about, well, never mind. We're not going to go there. That's a different show.
No,
The
no,
Real and
no.
Raw show is next. So
Yeah, here's my lawyer's card, you might need it.
what kind of people do you enjoy hanging out with?
That's easy. I enjoy hanging out with a variety of people, but they all have the same characteristic. They're positive, they're upbeat, and they're going places in a purposeful, predetermined way.
Well, I want to thank you because you humbled me, and it was an honor that usually I'm going out and finding guests that I've admired or I want to interview, and like you made me feel cool by saying, Lynn, I want to be on your show. And I was like, well, talking to you, I want you on my show. But you actually brought that up before I was like, when can I have you on? And I set up a date, and I was a little nervous because it was like I knew you, but I didn't know you enough. So you were very kind. And we actually, Monday, I didn't have a regular show, but I spent that day spending time just getting to know JR as a person. And I really, really appreciate that he made me feel comfortable and that I could be vulnerable with him and say, it's not about him, it's about me. And, you're the epitome of, you're like my first interview of someone that I could say I haven't known long, but I'd like to interview.
Yeah.
And so you made me feel so much better because I couldn't sneak attack you being on my show. So I'll probably have to have you on my show some other time to surprise you. But I'm taking the format, all different ways. And you just made me feel more comfortable with getting out of my comfort zone. So I really thank you so much for that.
Oh,
and
that's
I
good.
want my show to be like different than any other show you've been on. And so I like people to be intrigued by my guests enough to go stalk them. I mean, go follow them. And so,
not married women, please.
Yeah, he's single too. Well, no, never mind.
No,
we're not going to talk about his status.
It's a long
it's complicated. No. Hopefully they're not watching this. Anyways, what makes you unique?
Oh my God. I've been out of the box for so long. Some people come out of the closet and I came out of the box.
Okay,
I've always
Jack.
been an extrovert and curious about stuff without being tacky or whatever. Some people come out head first. Some people come out feet first. And I think I was doing one of these things to the doctor and the nurses, on the way out. And it's just, it's a great characteristic. And I get that from my grandparents. They were, my grandpa passed away many years ago, but it took us, the dude was in his mid 90s.
Wow.
Okay. When he passed away. And, number one, when he passed away, there was more tubing than there was him in the hospital. But the story I always share about him is, he's just there. And I mean, he's like on life support type of thing. But this is how long ago it was. I think they called them candy stripers or something, nurses assistants, whatever.
Yeah.
And this cute young thing comes out and she walks by and he's like leaning back and his eyes are closed and he catches the motion. And this is somebody who hasn't talked for a couple days. And he catches the motion and he comes to consciousness because his eyes open up. A little smile comes across his face. And then when he catches her eye, he winks at her. and then
Cute.
he passed on to eternity.
Oh, that is so sweet.
And I mean, what a great way
Oh,
to die. Die with your
oh,
boots on, you know?
oh, that is
I would
so
like to I
sweet.
would like to die making a pass at a cute young thing before I pass on. That was my grandpa.
Oh,
He was faithful to his wife for 74 years. Believe me, he never saw anybody that loved each other. That was a wonderful thing to see because when we were growing up, times were different then to a certain degree, and you didn't see outward forms of affection as
right.
much. But like one time I remember as a kid, she was at my grandma was at the sink doing the dishes after a meal we had, and he goes by and he pinched her butt on the way by. And so she goes, "Hoo, hoo, 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 hoo." And then he goes, "Hoo, hoo, hoo." And I mean, and I
That's
mean, they're like in their 70s, 60s, late 60s, 70s then, which doesn't seem half as old now. But
that's
man,
awesome.
what a great thing for a child to observe two people having fun
Yeah,
and enjoying each other's company.
yeah.
What a
So,
novel thought.
yeah. So, were you there when he passed, or did you just hear about it?
I just heard the story. I couldn't be
Oh,
there because I was too
yeah.
busy being important somewhere
Yeah.
and
Well,
maintaining, I had a 30-state business and was in charge of a trade association and had too much stuff going on. I
yeah.
mean, people that look at one of the things that I've matured tremendously in is what is it to be successful? I mean, some people, yeah, it's okay to have the plane and the Lamborghini and the car and the this and the that. And I'm not knocking any of those toys, but there's some people that have all those things that are profoundly unhappy.
Absolutely.
And
It's
they
all
still
materials.
and they're still and they're still obsessed with making it, which I think is something that they had when they were kids because they were in a modest financial scenario, and they never resolve with themselves when the war is over. They'll
Well,
always, J.P. Morgan one time, I mean, richest man in the world, at one point. And John Pierpont Morgan was interviewed by this young cub reporter of the New York Times, and he asked him, Mr. Morgan, how much is it? What is enough money? And Morgan kind of scowled at him, and he snapped off an answer real quick, and he said, "Sonny, I'll tell you how much is enough. Whatever your current net worth is, plus $1. So you never have enough." And to a certain degree, in a very minor way, I was of that same mindset until I realized everything that I had and how rich I was. I'm rich in friends, rich in experiences, rich in self-determination, rich in a lot of things that a lot of people are sorely lacking, that have all the other, they got that paycheck coming in every 2 weeks, and they've got the bank account and the IRA and the house at the beach and the co-op in the mount, whatever, but they're not happy,
right. No, it's true. It's absolutely true.
and they haven't. So it was really a radical paradigm adjustment on my part, and part of the rethinking process last year, one of
Absolutely.
several stages.
What's your favorite quote?
My favorite quote, I like a lot of different things. One of them is George S. Patton, one of our great generals, General Patton, Blood and Guts Patton. And he said a number of things, like when you have a man by the short hairs, his heart and mind are soon to follow. And, just a lot of weird stuff like that.
It's not weird.
No, it's true. I mean,
Yeah.
a lot of people, I can think of a number of quotes. I want to keep it at a PG. I've got some earthy people who I quote, obviously, but one of the things that is lovely is, again, the group that we're in, the 959 group. And I encourage anybody to check it out sometime. It's, guess when it happens, 9:59 Eastern. And it's this guy named Jeffrey Gittimer. And he's one of the people that I had a relationship with him many years ago. And when he started out, and reacquainted myself with him and his stuff. And it's how I met Lynn and a bunch of really cool people. You need to go where there are people working on positives for themselves in order to be positive. So that's what I did.
Awesome. So what's the funniest joke you know by heart? That's PG.
Oh, gee, all these Rodney Dangerfield quotes and stuff, you know?
Okay, give us one or two.
Okay. Well, the world's shortest poem is Fleas. Adam had 'em. And, you know, I used to help with the kids at church many years ago. And, you know, it's just, who was the shortest man in the Bible? Nehemiah. You know, just corny stuff like that. And
That's cute. But that's
bad.
one way to remember it, right?
Yeah.
That's a memory thing.
Yeah, who was the guy that had a sports car? It was David, because he came through the gates with triumph, you know, and
Oh, there you go.
you know, just silly stuff like that, you know.
Yeah, that's cute. That's cute. So what's the most spontaneous thing you've ever done?
Oh my God. I do that on a daily basis. It's hard to be focused and get that laser focus when your whole life is spontaneity, you know. What's the most spontaneous thing I've ever done? One time I hopped on a plane and went to Europe to see somebody.
There you go. There you go. I don't.
And it was just on a fluke, and I had the passport, and it's like, "What's up?" and "Hi, I'm here," and they're like, "Okay."
There you go.
The thought was better than the result. I'll put it that much, because you know.
Okay, so what book recommendations do you think have been, in fact, impactful in your life?
Oh, geez, the 3 C's. We get back to it, you know. The Bible's had a tremendous impact in me. I wish it had more impact, but
read it a couple more times. It'll help.
Yeah. Read it more than once. That's a good idea. But you know, motivational books. Jeffrey Gittimer, of course, has a bunch of them. There's a new one that's out that he's got, that I've got here. I don't have the cover on it. It's Grow Live. It's only $20. And if anybody's considering doing this type of thing, this would be a great motivational book. It's only $20. And, you know, I read a lot of books. I'm just going off of what's off my shelf here.
There you go. That's.
I don't have a big library anymore, because a lot of times I don't go back to the books, and I gave my library away when I moved, to be honest with you, a lot of it. But Wayne Dyer, another great guy, Wishes Fulfilled. I'm going through that one right now. Just all kind of, I like motivational, inspirational stuff. I mean, I like Clive Cussler for fiction, because I'm a military techno geek type of thing. So and it's sort of like James Bond, only, you know, more like Artemis Gordon, if anybody remembers the Wild Wild West from back in the day. I like stuff like that.
That's awesome. JR, this has been so much fun. I hope you had fun on my show. It's definitely an honor to spend this time and space with you. I'm going to cut this here off in a minute, only because I got to change stages here and stuff. And
oh my, you're a busy girl today.
Yeah, and
thank you. And if anybody does have any questions about photography stuff, I'm there. info@jrastudios.com. And you know, if you I advise you, if you already haven't, to please ask, like, and subscribe for Lynn, because you know, we love our friends and we want to see them succeed, because the more they succeed, the happier we are.
Thank you so much. I love you, JR. I really do.
Yay, the show is over. You survived. Congratulations. I hope you had a great time.
I love it.
I want to thank you for being on my show. I hope you had a great time. I know I did. Thank you, love you, and God bless.
And like I said, if I didn't like you, I wouldn't be playing that at the end of my show.
Oh.
So again, you guys, I want to thank you guys for being here. I'm going to see you in my next show in about 15 minutes. JR, you stay there. And I shut this off a little early so I can be selfish and talk to my guests and thank them for being here. So you guys, thank you so much. I'm going to close out with just a little intro video of JR so you can see him in his natural light.